The Water Resources Management Authority has now mapped 16 flood-prone areas where residents must be on alert. Our special correspondent Alex Chamwada samples preparedness in one of the areas, that is Taita Taveta County. The three-part series Living with Flood begins tonight.
The 16 main areas are Daua in Mandera, Lower Tana River Basin covering Garissa and Tana River, Lower Sabaki in Kilifi County, Lower Lumi River Basin in Taita Taveta County, Nairobi, Thiba in Embu, Isiolo, Ewasonarok or Rumuruti in Nyandarua and Laikipia counties, Narok Town, and Pekera River Basin affecting Nakuru, Baringo and Laikipia counties. Others are Awach Kano or Nyando area that is commonly known for flooding, Lower Sondu River Basin, Gucha in Migori County, Yala Basin that normally affects Siaya, Busia, Kakamega, Vihiga, Nandi and Uasin Gishu counties, Lower Nzoia affecting areas like Siaya and Budalangi, and the last among flood-prone areas in the country is Sabwani in Bungoma County. In Taita Taveta, flooding occurs mainly when River Lumi overflows after it rains heavily in the upper zones of Taveta, with some of the rainwater flowing from the slopes of Mount Kilimanjaro area in Tanzania.
When water comes from Tanzania or even the upper parts of Taveta, it ends up in the flood-prone areas of Kimorigo, Kibalwa, Rekeke and Kitobo within Taveta.
But there are mixed feelings on the much talked about El Nino.
Mimi siamini kama El Nino inakuja. Kwa sababu kulingana vile El Nino wakati ule ilikuwa inakuja na sasa hivi watu wanasema inakuja, wanazurukisha tarehe. Hiyo ni kitu uongo.
Sisi tumekaa tu tunangojea ikija, haya. Tutaenda wapi na hatuna mahali pa kwenda.
Principal meteorologist at the Kenya Meteorological Department, James Muhindi, answers the pertinent questions on El Nino.
It is true that El Nino is there. The signal of El Nino, which is monitored from the Pacific, is still very strong. As just a matter of time that we are likely to see a lot of flooding over most parts of the country. People have lost their lives because of ignorance. You have been given information, you have ignored it, and then, say for example, you are caught up by France, you die. I remember even during the last season, the rainfall was not very high, but we had told people that some areas are likely to see flooding. Then somebody just say, no, these people are not gone. Then you remain where you are and you are caught up by France or maybe landslides. You lose your life because of ignorance. So what I'm saying in a nutshell is that if you don't factor in meteorological information, you are taking a risk. Because I would say meteorological information, it's not 100% accurate. But in most cases you find that the accuracy is 90% almost going to 100%.
Umesomea hii kazi, umesomea monitoring and early warning can be quite technical, but ordinary Kenyans can play a role as weathermen and women, nevertheless, in simple ways. Here in Taveta, the Water Resources Management Authority, with the support of partners like the Japanese International Cooperation Agency, have empowered the local community to utilize locally available technology to monitor floods under the wider goal of capacity building.
Na wakaweza kutufundisha jinsi ambavyo tunaweza kuelimishana ili tuweze kuambia wenzetu wa kule chini kama kuna mvua imenyesha kubwa huku tuwaeleze mapema ili wasikutwe na mshangao kwamba maji yameingia kwa nyumba na hawajui. Kwa hivyo hapa kuna geji, maji yakifika milimita 30, 60, 90, 120, ile ya kwanza ya 30 itapiga alarm. Na hii alarm iko ndani ya hii nyumba. Nimepitisha waya chini kwa chini, nikaingiza mpaka pale ndani ya nyumba. Kwa ile ya March mwaka jana, niliweza kupanda juu na nikawaeleza, na kweli nilipowaeleza wakijaribu kujipanga tayari maji kaingia. Wale ambao pengine walikuwa hawakuondoa vitu vyao, hata kuku, vyombo vya ndani ya nyumba vilichukuliwa, lakini wale ambao ujumbe uliwafikia walikuwa
The community around this place
will be prepared to use the raised road towards this center. We have raised this road towards the toilets, and the toilets there are raised. They will use the toilets even when they are in this evacuation center.
Welcome Chamwada. This is Eldora Primary. You see this level here.
This level?
Yeah, when the floods, when there are much rain and there are floods, this is the level of water. Okay?
It will come this high?
This high, yes. You can see, and normally it stays here for 1 month.
Now, you've been warned about possible floods this year. Do you believe the El Nino is coming, it's going to flood?
Yeah, we were prepared because it is all over Kenya. Built a trench up there at the end of the school compound. There's a trench dug by the parents. And also there's a culvert down there.
There you are, local solutions for local challenges amid mixed reactions ahead of the expected heavy rains. From Taita Taveta County, I'm Alex Chamwada.
And Living with Floods, the second part of that series will air next Sunday. But also that report is part of the Chamwada report, which airs tonight to repeat at 10 p.m. So do catch it with our Alex Chamwada, definitely just giving you perspective on living with floods. Even as the meteorological department says, El Nino is real, although there are other quarters that are faulting this particular sentiment. Let's now talk in terms of what we just heard from Chamwada there to get more enlightenment in as far as what to expect with some of the organizations that are concerned with flood management. Joining me in studio is Simon Mwangi on my extreme left. He is the flood management officer at the Water Resources Management Authority, WRMA. And also with us is James Ambuso. He's the financial and administration manager at the same organization. Thank you both for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you.
So let's begin with the Water Resources Management Authority. What exactly is your mandate?
Water Resources Management Authority is the lead agency in water resources in Kenya. One of the key functions of this institution is regulation of water resources in the country. We do this through equitable allocation of the water resources which are available in the country through issuance of permits. We also do regulation with regard to water quality, and recently in 2013 we also got the role of flood management. Flood management is basically making it possible for people to live with issues of floods without having to do some physical activities, but just people understanding the floods and being able to respond when floods come.
So we've heard from that report with Alex, 16 areas have been mapped. Which are these?
We have 16 mapped areas that we have prioritized. Water Resources Management Authority has come up with a contingency plan, and though there are more areas that are flood prone, but 16 are more prioritized. One of them is Mandera, Daua. Then we also have Lower Rumi, we also have Lower Tana, Lower Sabaki, we have Taveta, we have Nyando, we have even we have Yara, we have also areas of Budarangi, Nairobi, we also have Lodwa. So there are 16 in all. Prone areas.
Yes. So what is it that goes into mapping such areas? What decisions do you take to say this is an area that we need to map for? We're talking about flood prone.
So what you've done is that you have done analysis. You have been collecting data as Water Resources Management Authority, and you've been analyzing that hydrological data. And part of it is a flood management data, also flood impact data. And you've carried out various analysis, you have done interviews to the public, and we have been able to come up with areas that are affected by floods over the years. We have also a flood management database, which dates back to 1962 up to date. So we are able to kind of prioritize the areas that are most affected.
All right. And after that is done, the prioritization, you've mapped the regions. Is there something that goes into it? Is there something you're doing, or is it just to map it to know that it is prone to floods? Or what action is taken to ensure that in the case we have these rains, the people there are safe?
We actually do much more after mapping of these flood areas. And within the government, as you know it, there are levels of interaction. With regard to flood management, WRMA is the first port of call. We have a parent ministry, and at the moment in the country we have the National Disaster Unit. But on the ground, we work with water resource use associations and stakeholders. We take these people through a training which makes them be able to respond when these floods emerge. And as an institution, we have put together very many strategies. In some very serious areas like Nyando and Isiolo and Lower Lumi, we have even put up structures. In Nyando, we have flood evacuation centers with raised toilets, with the water supply, emergency water supplies, and places where children and women can be evacuated to. And these people have been trained. We have drawn flood hazard maps with which they can be able to move to these places. And we normally work using what is called sub-catchment management plans. When these plans are prepared to manage catchments, we now put in flood mitigation measures as a component of these sub-catchment management plans. So as you do all the other issues to do with the water within a given area, you take into consideration flood issues also.
So are we saying then come the El Nino rains, flooding happens, that each of these regions that you've mapped out will be okay?
We are promising you that these regions will be okay. We have been undergoing serious awareness with all the people, and they are very organized. We have committees within the small areas, and we have ROAs within the wider areas, and we are working even with the county government.
Okay.
All our officers, our technical experts, give advice to the county disaster management teams. So when water levels rise within the water bodies in those areas, our people are able to give information. By the way, one of our main strong points, we are the only people who have data for water levels in Kenya.
Right.
We are able to tell you.
What about Nairobi? Is it one of the regions you're mapping, and what have you put in place? Because residents here will see even when there's not even too much rain to the level of El Nino, you'll experience some flooding.
Yeah, in Nairobi we have prioritized River Bagadi as one of the causes. But you see, most of the Nairobi city is affected because of the drainage system. Where in the places that you don't have functional drainage system, then you have floods. But for us as Water Resources Management Authority, we are focusing on River Bagadi because that's why you have river-induced flooding.
All right. And also money that was set aside for El Nino mitigation, has your organization gotten some of that fund? If yes, what do you plan to use it for?
Normally, funds for mitigation are for after effects. They are for giving relief, assistance, blankets, food, and medicine. For our case, we start working before, and we don't get involved in issues of mitigation. There are other arms of government.
So you've not gotten any of that money?
No, that money doesn't come to us in that manner.
Okay, and finally, what role can Kenyans play in flood management, briefly?
Once they are informed and the awareness creation is created, then they have to take responsibility in making sure that they are really following the warnings that are being released by Med Department and also Water Resources Management Authority.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. That's Simon Mwangi, who's Flood Management Officer at Water Resources Management Authority, and James Ambuso, who's the Financial and Administration Manager in the same organization. We thank you both for being with us this morning. Let's stay now, or rather move on to another story, and it's all about flood still and water. One country which could give inspiration to Kenya is the Netherlands. The tiny European nation has built thousands of kilometers of dikes, dunes and barriers to protect its low-lying land from the North Sea. Today, as climate change threatens